Now, I'm excited about our next guest because since he took up this mantle, I personally haven't had the opportunity to speak with him. So today, dear, I'm glad that he's here. Of course, I'm talking about Yoofi Grant. He's the CEO of Ghana Investment Promotion Center, and he has a massive, massive mandate to bring in as much foreign direct investment as possible. And not just foreign, but local investment as well, because what we need is an economy that, that will have synapses snapping with money. So we're excited that he's here with us because we can learn a bit about what they've been up to and how far they've gone against the very big targets that they've been set. Mr. Grant, how nice to see you.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
Excellent. Excellent. Right. Okay, so, well, first of all, it's been just over 2 years now since you got into this, and you hit the ground running. We've seen you embark on all kinds of projects and initiatives. How's it going? How are you working towards the targets you have?
Well, I think we have, these are exciting times for the country. We have a big window of opportunity to really significantly transform this country. And of course, we also know that with the best of intentions, just macroeconomic stability is not enough. It's great, but not enough. So we should embrace, partnerships, linkages to the global markets to build our own. And also, under Ghana Beyond Aid, harness our own strengths and our own resources for development. So a critical part of that is bringing in relevant and critical investment capital, like you said, both domestic and external, to help us build an economy. And I always sort of use a very simple explanation that the more investment you have, the more businesses you're going to develop. The more businesses you develop, the more jobs you create. The more jobs you create, the more vibrant you're going to have the economy going. And the more vibrant it is, the more taxes government can collect to do development. So there's that nice little matrix of issues that you put together. But investment is very important. And so we try to set targets that are ambitious and try to work towards those targets.
You had a big one for last year. I think you wanted to bring in, was it 10 billion?
Yes, 10 billion.
For direct investment.
Yes.
How did you do?
We didn't achieve even 50% of that last year, and it's quite simple, indeed. But if you look at it broadly, in 2017, global FDI was in the region of 1.7 trillion. But by 2017, yes, by 2018, it had dropped to 1.2 trillion. And if you look at our performance in 2017, total FDI into Ghana was in the region of 4.9 billion. Then we had targeted 5. So that was seemed a major achievement for us. But having looked at the opportunities, the resources, and the trajectory that we want to push the economy, we know that there's a lot more we need to do, and there's a lot more possibilities that can happen, especially in comparison to other nations. So if you look at it, compared to global market in 2017 to global market in 2018, in 2017 we were able to bring in 4.9 billion. In 2018, it was 3.5 billion.
So what's the target for this year?
We are still targeting 10 billion.
10 billion?
I don't cut slack when the possibilities.
Wow.
At least we strive for it. The problem with that is the investment promotion job is not, it's not like a supermarket job where you go and pick what you want, pay for it and go out. You have to first expose the country. That's the brand marketing of Ghana, which is fantastic. The brand Ghana is amazing. You'll be surprised, amazing. And then of course, then there are unique opportunities. And then you yourself, you know what you want to do. So you have some opportunities that are natural, some to you develop. Like we want to build our infrastructure this way, we want housing that way, we want to build factories through one factory, we want to expand agriculture through planting for food and jobs, and one village, one dam. So there are quite a number of initiatives that become opportunities. Now, you are quite clear that you will not get all the capital internally. So let's say that we are looking at building 4,007 kilometers of new railways in Ghana.
Yeah.
That's easily a ticket of approximately 22 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, right there, you say, where am I going to get 22 billion within this economy, dollars, to build this railway? It's going to be a very hard fetch. So you go out, speak to possible and potential partners who are looking at this market, who are looking at the West African market, who are looking at the African market. You let them know who Ghana is, and you tell them the Ghana story, which I keep saying is a fantastic story. Then beyond the Ghana story, then of course you also need to sell the unique opportunities that you have, why they should partner with you. But at GIPC, we seek partnerships and linkages, like I said. So we look for those who also would engage the local economy in a very strategic way.
So what's the barrier? I mean, or there might be even more than one. What exactly are the things that make it difficult? Because I know the opportunities exist here, and I know there are people seeking opportunities out across the globe. And I know that the eyes are on Africa. I know this. I know that Ghana is also the gateway. We've really positioned ourselves well there.
Yes.
So what's the barrier? What is it that is, you know?
Well, the barrier is that sometimes you have to work doubly hard, because there are preconceived ideas out of information asymmetry. People have these beliefs that Africa, oh, that's a dark place, you don't know what you're going to get, which is truly factually incorrect. So you constantly have to go back and reassure them and tell them the story over and over again, that this is the story, you can check. So after a while, after maybe meeting a potential investor once, twice, 3 times, then he says, okay, this guy is serious. It's not just he came and spoke and he left and he didn't come back.
So what are some of the
follow-ups are extremely important but difficult, because you speak to a lot of people and you know, you want to draw the best out of it. And it takes quite a bit to narrow down into the one that you know this is going to be a good investor. You know, so that is one. The other thing too is, as a nation in transition, we have a lot of reforms going on, and constantly you are weighing the options and the opportunities you have to make sure that you have a best fit with the investor. You know, so that in itself, sometimes you have a few tensions here and there, but you can easily iron out, because at the end of the day, the investor is looking for opportunity, but we are also looking for opportunity to grow ours. And for us, what makes sense is some investment that is going to enable our economy to grow. So you are constantly caught between that tag, you know. And of course, making sure you balance it with the needs and the desires of what we call the political economy. Indeed. You know, so those are that. And then the third one is you need to be competitive. I mean, I'll tell you a very funny story. So we went to the annual investment meeting in Dubai, which is arguably the biggest, you know, meeting of investors and investment promotion agencies. And so we had a nice Ghana stand, very colorful with artificial colors. And then walking around the room, then you see other countries like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, but you also see United Arab Emirates also looking for investors. Wow. You see the UK also looking for investors. You see Russia also looking for investors. But yeah, we also go to those same countries to look for investors. So you are competing against those who have done well. But it's how well your opportunity can sell. And the confidence that you have that you have it. And Ghana has done, I must say, exceedingly well in the past 3 years. In 2017, we, after having inherited a rather difficult economy and faced some headwinds, and the GDP growth had virtually slumped to a 22-year low of 3.6%. In 2017, reforms, been more disciplined in how we manage the public purse, and aggressive, you know, fiscal consolidation. Our economy grew by 8.1%, one of the fastest growing nations in the world. 2017, 8.1. 2018, we've still seen it grow to at least 6.1, still one of the best in the world for that period. Now, the World Bank predicts that this year, 2019, Ghana will be probably the fastest growing economy in the world with a projection of 8.8. Others have predicted otherwise. So there is a good story to tell. This is the first time you're seeing a country first go through fiscal consolidation for stability, bringing macroeconomic stability, at the same time growing aggressively, and at the same time also able to pursue some of its social, you know, contracts to the citizenry, like you find in Ghana, free SHS
Yeah.
and many other things. So it's been a tough time of building a solid foundation. Now is the time to grow. So all those things, and that's what makes Ghana particularly attractive.
Right. Now, I mean, you've told us a little bit about some of the specific factors that investors consider when choosing investment destinations. I wonder about some of the peculiarities of Ghana, some of the things that you might find yourself reassuring investors over, like our performance on the corruption index, or even the freedom of press index, or how well our how independent and effective our judiciary are. These are things that investors certainly will ask questions about, no?
Oh, they will, but those things come, they are almost universal. Every country has its fair share of all those problems. But I dare say that I think we've made some positive strides in that. I mean, the appointment of the special prosecutor speaks, I mean, loads and loads. The fact that we've just passed the right to information bill speaks loads. But agreeably, most investors have known Ghana as a lover of democracy and the rule of law. They've known that this is a country where, English speaking, but they believe in the law and the rule of law, and comparatively, we are a peaceful country.
So that's not much of a headache for them.
No, I mean, they want to know, are you politically stable? Are you peaceful? Can I live in this country? Will I get my money back after a while? Can I develop? Can I grow my business? And when you tick, you find that Ghana scores high compared to many of the other countries in West Africa. But there's one thing that nobody can compete with us on. We are in the middle of the world. Ghana is the only country on latitude 0 and longitude 0. And, for the heck of it, that sounds good. So if there's something to say about it, it counts for something. But I also think that on the economic front, there's been a certain commitment that has been demonstrated through real results. And we've made some huge strides. One, I mean, our president became the co-chair of the group of eminent persons for the achievement of the SDGs. That is a big deal. A lot of people don't see it, but that is where the world is going to. Now, that has been buttressed with the Minister of Finance now becoming the chairman of the Development Committee of the World Bank and IMF. You can't get bigger than that as a country, because you are virtually in the position to sort of direct put into direction where the global economy should be looking at. So I think there are some very good things that are being recognized that is sort of enhancing our investment attractiveness. And we need to ride that. We need to ride that and bring stuff here, because at the end of the day, I mean, like I said at the beginning, more businesses, more jobs. And that's what people want to see.
Absolutely. Now, the GIPC also, seeks to tell the positive story of Ghana. And one of the ways you do that is with the Ghana Club 100 Awards, where you highlight the good work that, organizations in Ghana are doing. How are you using this event this year to promote the private sector? Indeed.
The Ghana Club 100 is supposed to project a sort of best 100 companies. And it's done along certain parameters using one of our partner advisory companies in Ghana. And it's been interesting seeing the changes year to year to year. But we need to sing that hymn louder, that these are top companies and we need to push them because they demonstrate a private sector that is growing and moving. And once again, I dare say that with all the policies that government is doing, the private sector is at the focus of it all. And so once there are companies there that are doing well, we need to take them out and use them as role models for those who want to do better. That, well, it's been done. These are our top 100 companies, and we need to herald and make sure that they are inclusive in the whole agenda of economic growth. And they are. Indeed, they are. I mean, if you look at them, some of them are the biggest taxpayers in Ghana. And we are seeing a lot more Ghanaian companies get into that list. And we need to push them. And so we are having this dinner on Friday where they will engage with the president. You see that, okay, these are your real generals in the field. They are the ones who are going to build the economy, because it's private sector that's going to build jobs. Government will create the environment, and there's this constant, conversation between private sector and public sector that will grow the economy in a very structured way.
Right, let's talk about the future. I mean, this year your target for FDI is the same, so clearly you're planning to do something different in order to hit it.
Right. You know, we've just not, like, we go out, we do a lot of outreach. I mean, I travel with the president, and very often I've realized, interestingly, that you get a lot of feedback when you go with the president, because they hear his story, they hear your story, they hear the other ministers, and there's a certain coherence and consistency. They say, okay, these guys must be real. Yeah. And some of the trips that we've been with the president, we've seen immediate results come out of it. Some of them, the other ones, you have to go once, twice, 3 times. And then it says, okay, these guys are serious. What we did in the past was we do a yearly calendar, and we target certain places that we know have investors who would be looking for Ghana. This year, we are looking at Europe because we've seen a lot of engagement with the EU. We have this European partnership agreement with Europe, but how can we take advantage of that to bring investors in? So we partner with them to facilitate that whole thing. So we do that, and then we looked at, we are also looking at Latin America and the Caribbean's building bridges. We are seeing significant business opportunities, not just for investment, but for trade as well. And for us, we are looking for investments that will facilitate trade. So you have a double-edged sword. I'm going to the thing. Now, after you've done that a number of times, then you get to find those who are really interested, and you target them. Then you also look at what really are your priorities right now. For example, energy. And we've had lots of interest on energy, especially since the ministry redirected our energy focus to distribution and renewable and sustainable energy, which we are signatories of the Paris Accord and the Africa 63 agenda. So we definitely have to change our energy mix. So we use that as an opportunity to say, okay, who can we bring in to do solar, to do wind? And interestingly, there are a lot of Ghanaians doing that. Wonderful. Now, what we are doing is that every trip that we go with Ghanaian private sector. Because we also recognize that we just don't want investment capital. We want partnerships and linkages. So when you go with the private sector people to your forums and on your trips, even with the president, they meet the big investors first time. And we've seen clear results come out of that. In agriculture, we've seen outcomes that are very positive. We've seen it in the energy space. We are seeing it in the infrastructure space. You know, so there is real, you see real effort coming out of that. Wonderful. But just not that. Because when you've done that a number of times, some of those who are investors who are already here then increase their investment. Because they see that, well, this is a country that is committed to improving its business sector through reforms, especially at the ease of doing business. We are really clawing at the barriers and all that are there to make sure we climb up, and become an attractive nation. In fact, the president set 2 goals on the business side. He says, well, Ghana should become a hub for West Africa. And also, Ghana should be the best place to do business in the medium term. So we are gradually getting at that. And we are achieving gains. Wow.
Well, nobody wants you to succeed more than I do. I know how important investment is to the growth of our nation, our economy. And so I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
I know that if anybody can do it, it's you. Yoofi Grant. And of course, we've got more to talk about when we come back. Joy Business Health and Wellness Show comes off from next week, Thursday until Saturday. And it's a unique opportunity for us to understand how health can be connected to productivity. We'll talk a bit more about that because it is, after all, Healthy Thursday. We're back after these.